Language is an important thing that cannot be separated from human life, because without language, either a sign or oral language, human would be difficult to communicate with others. So, it is very important to practice or even to learn a new language, because it can help us to communicate with people in around the world. Also, when we come to the work life, many companies require their employees to be proficient at least in 2 languages. There are many websites on internet that we can use for practicing language, and one of them is Google Translate. Google Translate is a complimentary translation service developed by Google in April 2006. It can translate text and websites from one language into another language. It offers a website interface, a mobile app for Android and iOS, and an application programming interface that helps developers with browser extensions and software applications. As of August 2020, Google Translate supports 109 languages at various levels, and as of April 2016, they claim that there are over 500 million total users, with more than 100 billion words translated daily. So, what's the advantage that we can get if we use Google Translate to practicing language, especially in translating foreign language? Let's find out. First thing that we can get if we use Google Translate for help us in translating is that it is free. Yes, just as long as we have an internet connection, we can access it wherever and whenever we want without paying for it. Second, there's a lot of features we can get there, such as typing features, camera translation features, voice translator features, offline features, and so on. Third, it is quick. One of the main advantages of Google Translate is that it is very fast. In fact, a human translator cannot compete with the speed nor as a result the quantity of the translation that Google Translate is able to perform. In an average workday, an experienced translator can translate about 2,000 words maximum, or 300 up to 400 words per hour. It's depending on the difficulty of the text. In contrast, Google Translate can translate the same number of words just in seconds. Amazing. But it also has the disadvantages. And what are they? With Google Translate, the meaning can be lost in translation because there is no way to incorporate context. The complexity of the text, as well as any context which cannot be interpreted without a true knowledge of the language, makes the likelihood of errors greater. Direct translation is common with Google Translate and often results in an essential literal translation, while professional translators take great pains to ensure that this doesn't happen by using well-established online glossaries, back translation methods, proofreaders, and reviewers. Google Translate often produces a translation that contains significant grammatical error. This is due to the fact that Google's translation system uses a method based on language vacancy that doesn't take into account grammatical rules. Google Translate doesn't have a system to correct for translation errors. There is no way of reporting errors in order to avoid having them repeated, nor is there a way to proofread what has been translated unless one is fluent in both the source and the target language. Now, let's hear about the students' perception toward Google Translate in translating.
I think that Google Translate is a tool that always used by the students to translate a document.
I think Google Translate is really a useful tool, especially for us as students.
Google Translate is an online translation machine. It gives us quick feedback when we need at a time, as long as we have the internet connection.
In my opinion, Google Translate can translate well, but when it comes to the more complex sentences, the translation results it's not accurate.
The result of Google Translate is not really accurate, so I think we need to recheck the result.
So, in my opinion about the result of Google Translate, if you want to translate a simple sentence honestly, the result is good. But if you want to translate a paragraph or complex sentence, the result is quite, let's say, not really good because there is a grammar error in it.
The translation is not really accurate, especially when we're going to translate a more complex sentences. I think it's the accuracy.
In my opinion, the things that should be improved by the Google Translate is the grammar itself.
I think Google Translate should improve the accuracy.
I think the thing that should be improved in Google Translate is the grammar correction.
Okay, talk about recommended or not. So Google Translate will be recommended for those who will translate a simple sentence, but it's not recommended for a complex sentence if you want to translate it.
It's a yes if you're going to translate simple sentences, but if you're going to translate an essay or scientific writing, you will need probably something more accurate.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Yes, I do.
Based on those interviews, it can be concluded that Google Translate is very helpful for those who want to translate a language, like a daily conversation or even simple sentences. But when it comes to the more complex sentences, or if you want to do a scientific writing, it's not recommended, because the translation result is not accurate. So, the very wise thing that we should do if we want to use Google Translate is we have to recheck the result of it.